Sweet. Can't miss clicking the recording button considering last week I had 2 meetings that I didn't click it on. I mean, the smart one, huh? All right, guys. So I'm a little late here to this meeting. Had a first of all, I just want to say thank you for everyone who reached out. I have not responded back to all messages yet. So one of my really good friends passed away yesterday. He actually lives directly across the street from me. So my kids and his kids, they play together. They have one heck of a time. And then us adults just sit outside and talk and have a good old time. And yesterday was broke with the news. He went out with some friends. It was a beautiful day. So him and some of his buddies loaded up and went on a quick little bike ride. And, I was like, man, I'll be back, guys. I'll see you on a bit. Y'all enjoy your day. Hug his family, everybody, goodbye. And he doesn't make it back home. So it freaking sucks. Was T-boned by an SUV while riding with everybody. And, supposedly the guy that T-boned him was either lightly intoxicated or just wasn't paying attention altogether. But there's some investigations taking place. So, hopefully that's taken care of on that end. But we were with the family yesterday and they obviously took it rough. It was we were here from, the beginning of when they finally got back home. And it was just, as you can imagine, the worst thing you want to see, man, the kids breaking down, the family, everybody. So it was not a good day yesterday. It's different when you're at home and you hear about news of a friend and, you're here. But when you hear the news of the friend from, their eyes, their views, and you're right there with them, it hits a little different because then you see the hurt and the break across the board. So for those that knew Ronnie, man, you guys know what type of person he was. It was, how I am with my family, my vision and everything. That's how he was, man. I mean, he lived and breathed for his family. So it hurts a lot. And I wasn't going to get on here and even do a Zoom, but I'm that type of person, man, that sometimes it just, it feels better to kind of, stay a little bit in my zone and do what I got to do and then get off here and deal with what we got to deal with. So, but again, I just want to give you guys kind of an update as to what my message was about. And I appreciate all the messages coming in. So where we're at, this trade here that was taken, I took it. It was off that break right there. Didn't even. So funny story. I was laying in the bed and I was just laying there talking with Hannah and literally just saw that move on my phone. I don't trade on my phone. You guys know me. But I just one of those moods, man. It was a funk yesterday. And I told Hannah, I was like, who cares? If I lose this trade, I'm not even worried about it. I was like, but it looks like a sell. And I just clicked it, put my phone down. We continued to talk. And then fast forward, here we are. So let's look at this for anyone else that doesn't have an entry right now. So, we're going to connect the dots to here. And then we're going to connect the dots to here. And this looks very, very similar to like the markup we had on Friday, where, you've got these two trends here, breaks those two trends, you fly up. Then the zone that we have is right here. I'm just going to leave that as one zone. I'm not going to mark up two lines there because those are too close together. And here's the thing, when you mark up zones, if you've got zones that are that close together within 2 to 3 pips, if you're taking a trade based off of a 2 to 3 pip zone there, you should not be trading. So I'm not even going to mess with that one. So that one there, and even this zone here, I mean, we still got, that one's 13 pips away. So, I mean, that gives you a little bit of room for protection, but I'm just going to leave those two zones there if we push this break on market open. So then we need to look at, entries for sells. So what we're going to look at here will be a horizontal break zone. So we've got basically that right there would slam us down, but then this right here would bounce. So again, that only gives about 14, 15 pips, enough to really squeeze in there and see what we can pull out. So show you what we're going to do today. We obviously know this right here could pop back up. So let's see where my entries are at right now. I got 0.25. I'm not feeling that today at all. So we're going to do 0.1 buy because buy and sell because we're already in a position there. So buy stop Go get that buy stop up here. And then I will be pushing this buy stop out of that break about right there. So if we hit this, bounce, hit that, bam, we're in a trade. Run that up. For sells, we said this right here would be our break zone for that. So we will run a sell stop. And you'll notice that when you do this, sometimes it doesn't show up. You can just change the, you can do that. You can change the hours and dailies and all that stuff to see what you need to see. Bring that in like that. And then you can switch back to the chart you're on. And you'll see it right here. Yeah, scroll down a little bit, boom, right there. So we're going to slam that. I'm actually going to put, I know we said that's our zone, but keep in mind it can bounce right there. And I don't like running that. So we're going to get our 10 pips outside of that. See where we're at. There's 12. I'm okay. Let's see. That puts us at 12. Yeah, I'm cool with 12. 1 pip's not going to matter. That's another thing. If you guys are trading and 1 pip makes or breaks your trade, it's not the best setup and or trade. I will tell you that. So now if you do want to be risky, because I know I got some risky people, you do have that right there for your break that you can run. Just be aware of this area here. And then, like I said, if you want to be risky, you had your swing low marker here with your swing high here. Remember, when it lays flat, we're ignoring those candles. So you're getting right there. And if we look at that, that basically got all these candles here and that wick. So your entry was right here, which it did come back pretty close. And you're currently running in 53 pips of profit. So no one's complaining about that. But you can literally just go just like that right there. Bam. And there was your swing low. You wicked up, you broke zero drawdown. I mean, on that one, I mean, not even a pip. And then it came back to hit you within, 3 pips on both occasions and running pretty good. So even if you were just trying to catch, remember that 50 pip run, and right there's your 65 pip run in 10 minutes and you're done for the day. So if you're trading at, $10 per pip, there's your $650 in 10 minutes. If you're trading, larger than that, let's say you're doing $50 per pip, there's your $3,000 in 10 minutes. I mean, you're literally in and out. So yeah. And thanks guys for the messages. I just saw everything come through the chat. And Joe, you're right, man. I mean, that's just, I sat here and I was like, man, if I don't get on the Zoom right now, the kids have their school, they have everything they're doing at the moment. And I'm just, I'll be sitting in there writing in my journal, and that's something that I just don't want to write today. So yeah, here I am. Man, got 45 people in here. I love it. The group's growing, guys. So I do want to say thanks for that, because it's all in part of, you guys bringing people in and us having some fun together. Currently right now, I was looking at the numbers this morning, and let's see here. Where did I write that down at? Let's see here. So as far as total members on the website, we're like 415, 420. And then people that are actually in the community, jump on these lives and stuff like that, is sitting at like 150. So we're getting there, guys. I love it. So market's open. Didn't even realize what time it was. We're talking so much. So we'll see what she puts out here for us, man. It's a really weak market open, though. I will say that. I say that almost every single week too. But man, that's the last week's just been weak market opens. I mean, 38 pips at one, 38 pips wick to wick, right there. 41 pips. So that's nothing. No crazy news today. There is some speaking that's taking place. But again, nothing, no red folders, anything like that. You guys pay attention, just got a message. Where's your morning coffee at? Hannah's actually getting it ready for me. Right now I'm drinking sparkling rainwater. So it actually says contents sparkling rain. So I love sparkling water. And when I saw that, I was like, I just got to try it. So while we're sitting here watching this, and nothing too exciting happening at the moment, it goes hand in hand with my story that I had on Instagram, talking about, man, life is short. You know, you never know when it's going to leave you. You know, there were kids that, you know, hugged their dad thinking he was coming back last night, and there was a wife that hugged him thinking he was coming home. So thank you, babe. Oh, you're fine. You guys just be sure that, you know, living your life, those material things that you want and all the things you're trying to work and aspire to are not the things that you're pursuing and basing your life off of. Because I can tell you now, working towards those material things can also keep you away from the important things, and that's your own life and your family. So we're in buys. So this was, obviously, we always say this through here's your high risk zone. We got in buys. Now you'll notice we didn't get that big push that we normally get. So one thing that we want to be cautious of is if this turns around and goes opposite direction, where are we going to put our stop loss? So for me, I'm going to look at this last swing marker here, and then look at about 10 to 15 pips, which is going to be about right here at the bottom of that candle where it started. So if we get a nice little decent push up, we can protect this one here, then let this thing run through, see what happens. This will also give you guys a good peek into what happens when you're already in a position and how you manage that position once this starts going towards there. So right now I'm currently protected on this one by about 60 pips. I mean, 6 pips, 60, which is pretty hefty. I mean, not hefty, which is pretty light for that, but cool with it. So in profit all the way across the board right now. I will go ahead and take this, bring it down and protect right here. So run that pretty close. So as you guys know, that high risk entry is always this first trend line here. Currently running up 47 pips in profit. If you took my entry, you just got knocked out. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing if I'm really in the mood to trade and I'm like, okay, I didn't lose that trade. Watch this. You can do this right here. Please don't do this though and start over trading. Again, I'll look at this for that 10 pips up, which is almost right there, like that. And this way, if it does, because sometimes you'll have that wick comes down like this and then get that big push up. This right here still gets you in that zone of coming up. Now, this is a reason why I do preach a lot. Trading high risk sometimes is always better. And you'll hear that referred to as Zach and a few other guys as aggressiveness, because trading in this aggressiveness, right there's that entry. And even though that wick came down, you're still 15 pips and you're still protected and you got a lot out of that one. I mean, you just ran 54 pips. So you had 54 pips out of this run. If you got in from this swing high to swing low here, I know a few of you guys posted buys just a few minutes ago. And then at your peak right now, that's 100 pips for your day. So not too shabby. So let's see. Andy, why wouldn't you close out your sales even though it's in profit? This zone, typically I would. I'll set my ears itching. Typically I would close out this trade. The only issue is where that line is right there. That 34,924 is a massive, massive zone of resistance. When we zoom out, actually, just look at it on the 30. So we look at this on the 30, and you look at this blue zone. Everywhere we've hit here, we've either slammed down or come up. And if you go further back, you see it even more and more and more. So for me, I just like that area. And since I have that entry, I don't want to lose it just by closing out in profit right now, because that zone right there has been one that if it hits that way, if it hits and breaks, closes above it, we have a nice little push up there. So obviously just got put in that trade. And my screen locked up on me. And boy, we're getting close. So hit it. It's a very important zone. Don't want to lose any trades today. So you guys know, well, if my computer would stop locking up on me and get knocked out, boom, knocked out. That's all she wrote. So that's my morning. So high risk entries, you guys are solid. Y'all are still running 80 pips and looking good. And it came back to that zone. We'll see what happens here. let it play out. But again, that's what you see by when you protect early like that and you get those wicks that come down, you get wicked out pretty easy. Now, I will say this with this trend line here, and I still got my sell stop down here. So this right here is still a solid trend on that 1 minute. So I'm still going to take this now that I know that this area is here on that break that could happen right through here. I will take this and move it to about right there. And you guys, obviously, you don't have to protect as much as I do. As you see, I treat my capital very, very tight. So I like to see candles like a big push like that and then come up like that. And then I can protect when you have these wicks and stuff coming down. That can be a rough one. So as you can see, it knocked me out of that position I had earlier. And it's coming down now in this zone. So Andy, would you have taken a sell off that? You can take a sell. Here, I'll show you. Watch this. All right, so there's your sell. And we always say the swing high marker is your stop loss. So we can go up 10 pips from here. So that's 38. So basically 48, which would put us right there. And that would be your stop loss. So if you're playing this area here, and that's where you see me fill in these wicks and do that number like that right there. So yes, you can trade that way. Now you'll see that trading this way is a lot more riskier and you will lose more of these trades than you will win. I can promise you that. The only plus side is that when you do finally catch one, if you're running it that close, like to lose this trade right here is a $358 loss. Okay. You may lose that trade 5 or 6 times. So you're talking $2,000, but then you're going to have that one moment where it prints a swing high marker just like that one. And if we zoom in over here, actually, like let's say you did it on this swing high marker here, it never got back up to your stop loss. And I mean, look at that run you had, you know, right there, 129 pip run, you know, $1,200. And you can do it on other ones too, you know, right there. So you can get lucky on those trades all day. So this will give you guys a good idea of, you know, how that looks actually live. Oh, yeah. And Apple, I mean, like I said, keep your eyes on Apple, and it gives you a solid indicator. And right there it is. Boom. There's your trend line and market open and gapped all the way down. So, and then there was our sell-off that we had from last week. Look at that 1 minute. So see what happens. And then knocks you out and pushes. It's a nice little example there. I don't know of many other people that go live to show you how to lose a trade by one of their strategies. All right, let's look at this real quick. So as we set aggressive high entry right there, you're up to a peak of 108 pips, currently setting at 83 pips. Entry on swing high, swing low marker, currently got to a peak of 156 pips, currently setting at 126 pips. So not a bad day for you guys at all. At all. I take a sell earlier off that sell TL you have, except it was set at a higher angle. So I just closed at 1% L. So you're saying you closed at a 1% loss, taking a sell off this zone right here. And if you did, my only question is, why did you protect? Did you protect your entry so you couldn't lose the trade where it would knock you out in profit? So Andy, earlier putting your thing on 10 pips above swing high marker, would you do it again? I mean, we could. We've only lost. I mean, that one trade I just lost here. I'm not counting that as as a loss because I had a question get asked, so I figured I'd show you guys how you would do it in real time. Yeah, I mean, you most certainly could. You could just go up here and hit buy stop, and then move it 10 pips. Find your 10 pips, which is right there. I mean, there's your 10 pips off that because all that is that's showing you that for price to go higher, you got to break this. The only issue is, I will say this: if you continue chasing those up, you get to a point to where you finally get to that last one, and you put a buy stop, and it wicks it, and then just slams down a ton. So yeah, I mean, you can do this right here all day long and follow it out all day long. I mean, this is that zone I was telling you guys about too, right here. So if we go up and close a candle, we could push up higher, and right there's those wicks are coming down. Candle sat on it, went up. This candle opened here, wick down, went up. So there's a lot in that zone right there. So move your sell stop. I will not move my sell stop up, only because I don't have a trend. I have nothing I can put. Like, that's not a trend to me. The trend is still here. So we could still come back down and do this number and hit this trend. It still could hit this zone right here and bounce where that wick is right here and those candles are. So this is still my trend line for that. And if you zoom out, there's nothing else on the bottom, because remember, we're looking at the 1 minute. There's things you can look at on the, 30 minute, the 1 hour and all that, that'll help you. But at the end of the day, you gotta remember, we're looking at this as, where is the alpha trend, so to speak. And if you're trading on the 1 minute, this is the only alpha trend you got. There's no other trend present in this. So I'll be keeping my self stop exactly right here on that trend, if that makes sense. So as you can see, we did that same thing again, and that is a very close area. So you guys will get to see how you can react to that. So now it's pushed through a trend line here. It's pushed through an area that we knew was resistance for a bounce, and it opened up candles and pushed up. And now it's testing this upper area here, which is very important to get on top of here. So this is where volume needs to kick in. It needs to push pretty hard. Why do you use buy stops and sell stops instead of just clicking the button? It keeps me honest. Because there's many times I can sit here and have my mouse over that, and I'm like, all right, click buy, and I'm looking, I'm like, but it's a wick. Nope, not doing it. It's a wick, and then it goes or either which direction. So by using buy stops and sell stops, I am setting where I want that price to go and touch within the zone, and I'm saying I will enter right there on that spot. So I mowed the grass the day before yesterday, and boy, forgot how bad my grass allergies were. So when you got a big wick like that with a swing high on the top, this is where we fill this back up. Oh, there it is. That's what I was about to say. We fill this back up with a bigger candle heading upwards, and it'll fill this up. And if it fills it up and then we get a little bit above it, we're going to continue to push. If it fills this up and opens another candle over here, and we go bearish to fill the bottom of this, then that's when we will do this number here. So always watch out for that. So again, so you guys have seen I've been protecting on that first and second candle. So we're gonna see where this one opens up at and see where that wick comes. If that wick hits this zone right here, which is our 34,980, and then we get a nice bounce, we'll be able to protect right up in this area right there. If it just continues pushing and we can get 2 or 3 candles out of the push, then we'll go ahead and protect down here. But this is a good scalping technique that you can use, because as you guys see, anytime you get that swing high, swing low, and it's pushed through, we've had a solid, there's 40 pips. Same thing happened here on that one. And look, another solid 45 pips. So, you could almost do this as scalping on the way up and down, utilizing those swing high, swing low markers. And you're going to get your pips. You're going to get that, you're going to get that push in there. So with this one, I forgot, hold up. But there we go. And that should be about right there. And 8 pips. So, and one thing cool to look at is look at this. Look at this. Get that 30-minute candle, and it hit right there. So look at this on the 30. See how we connect those dots? It broke through that dot right there, and then the only other structure that we have is right there. Which on the 30-minute, again, if you're trading this aggressively, if it breaks right here, that's your entry. And then boom, breaks this one, that's your entry. And then those are your TPs coming down. But that is a solid 30-minute candle. If you were playing your 30 minutes on your zone breaks, utilizing these swing highs, that right there's your zone. And you can see what happened. It opened up. As soon as 930 hit, I mean, right there, 39 pips, it broke your zone to run all the way to the top, which is 169 pips, which I say is what? Our TP. So, because if this right here is what you're using for your break, that's your next zone for your TP. So you literally just sat there and called your entry as well as your TP on the 30-minute. Just by connecting the dots. So it got back on top of that zone. We'll see if she likes it. But as you guys have seen over the course of the last few weeks trading live in the mornings, we're not overcomplicating the trades. We're literally drawing some trend lines, connecting the dots, putting our buy stops and sell stops above, below where we need to go, and letting it run. Now, obviously, people don't like when you do that, because I posted up a screenshot the other day on Instagram, and you know how social media people get. They're like, well, of course you're going to win. If you're putting it on either which direction, then you're guaranteed to win. So why would you do that? If you're a good trader, why wouldn't you just predict in which direction it's going to go? And that's the way you would go without the other direction. I was like, well, you answered the question yourself. You said by utilizing both of those, you're almost guaranteeing yourself to win. So why wouldn't you want to do that? All we care about as traders is what? Winning. That's it. At the end of the day, if we're winning, then it's a good day. So by utilizing this, you're not having to worry about clicking a button too fast, clicking a button too slow, because I can promise you right now, if you had to push buy right here on this break, by the time this candle pushed through and you clicked buy, you're in it about right here. So that means you missed your entry by 27 pips. Whereas if that's a buy stop, when it hits it, you're in that trade. So don't overcomplicate it. So got rejected at that zone, came back down and tapped it to a T. So just by protecting this morning, not worrying about, obviously I had the loss that I used as demonstration. But without that, just protecting our entries that we have at the moment, we're setting at $186 of profit just by protecting. Now, if you looked at the profit number on the bottom down here, at one point when I first opened up the computer, had like $1,800 floating there that we didn't close, we got knocked out of. Had like $528 and the $438 trade. So we had all of those taking place. So if I'd have closed out just all the trades that I saw visually that were in profit, it'd be about $2,600 a day. Excuse me. Sorry. Sparkling water got me live and uncut. So that sparks a good question, because I'm looking at questions that are coming through the chat here. Why wouldn't you close those out? Because those were nice profits for the day. I'm big on just protecting and letting it run. And then when I can get a solid push, I'll close half. And I'm not trying to at this point. Hold on a second. I just had a message come through. I'm trying to read. Okay, I can get to that later. At this point, I'm not trying to max out trades and say, oh man, this is the biggest trade of the day. I got to close that now. I'm trying to get that run. That's what I want. I want that solid run, and protecting early. That's how I trade. Swing high marker all the way to the H4. We're looking at this one right here. So this, you can use this one on the 4 hour as a TP, but that's going to be a swing trade. And if you're taking this as a swing trade, your entry cannot be right here. So if you're taking this buy as a swing trade, then you've got a few things. Yeah, now, love you, babe. If you're taking this as a swing trade, right here is your entry. So you're currently up right now 565 pips with your TP setting at 1,000 pips if you're taking it as a swing. If you're taking it as a zone break, this was your zone right here, which is right there. And you're currently setting at 471 pips in profit. But don't take a trade on the 1 minute and look at a 4 hour or a daily or an H1 as your TP. If you're scout, you can look at it as the far process. I mean, the further point of where you could possibly hit, but keep in mind, there's a lot of resistance zones to break through. You got that one there. You have that one there. You have that one. You have that one. You even have that one. So just be cautious when you're looking at those TPs on that higher timeline. I will look at the daily to get kind of a general idea of where I need to go. But I make sure that my entries are well protected and I'm in good profit. Typically around 350 to 400 pips in profit, you can turn it into a swing all day. All right. Sorry, guys, I'm sniffing on here. Done with buy stops. I am at the moment. I don't want to overtrade, and you guys obviously don't have to protect as tight as I do. I protect my capital with everything that I've got. Valid point. You protect your capital, but you used your live account to demonstrate how you could take a scalp. Yeah, very true, very true. But there's no worries there. I'll make that back. I'll make it back. I can promise you that. Is there a point when the sell stop becomes invalid? Yeah. So whenever we set up, if price starts coming through here and bouncing doing this number and creates some swing low markers, it will give us something to take this and connect a dot to. And as soon as we can get a dot connected on that, then I can move this around. I will leave this present, one of two reasons, which is going to sound really goofy, to where I can easily move this around. Sometimes you'll look and I'll have 5 or 6 buy stops and sell stops on here that are nowhere near the price. And that's just to where I've got my gun loaded. I mean, think about this. We always say be prepared. Well, if I've got to go in here and right click and I'm looking for like a buy stop, I don't have a buy stop. So I may have to click a different time frame and then it's not loaded. I'm like, crap, I need to get this in here. You can click new order and you can fill it all out and put your price in and all this stuff. I don't like doing that. I'd rather be able to take this and just drag it. But be cautious that when you do this and you have them setting out, that is a loaded gun. If news were to hit or anything happened and you weren't paying attention and this thing were bam, it hits it, it could ultimately hit that and wick up. So always keep an eye on your buy and sell stops within your chart. Don't just keep them running around. I protected 2. Now just wait for structure. That's it. You're waiting for structure. And I mean, this isn't a good market open. It's solid for catching some money. I will tell you that. I mean, I said you're currently setting at 151 pips on aggressive entry. On this entry here, we did protect, and you can see right there, a little, 5 pip wick got you there, and another 10 pip wick got you there, but that was the entry there, and that one's running at 146 pips. So, I mean, not a bad day, just protected super, super early on it. Excuse me. So let's see. Headline was Dow Jones rises, but tech tumbles as rising treasury. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be, let me look at mine. See what's going on here. That was a nice push. Say something real quick. So tomorrow is going to be a good one. We've got a red folder at 10 o'clock for Powell testifies. Then we got consumer confidence tomorrow at 10. Pending home sales and crude oil, 10 o'clock on Wednesday, with another Powell speaks at 11:45. And then Thursday, we have unemployment claims, final GDP, FOMC, natural gas storage. There's a lot of news on Thursday. And then going into Friday, we have our core PCE price index. So yeah, this week's going to push really, really nice. So right now it's building structure. This is not, to me, this is not structure. This, to me, I consider this consolidation. I mean, we're staying within 30 pips within the last, 17 minutes. Structure for me is when you have this right here. When you have up, down, up, down, up, down, that's going to create the structure. So you can use Carbon Capital. They've got a whole economic calendar on the back end of the website. And then there's a lot of people that use forexfactory.com that gives you news as well. And again, so here's the thing, because when it always sounds contradicting when I'm like, I don't trade the news. I don't trade the news, meaning I don't look at the news and base my analysis off of it, meaning, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, so we're going to sell, or we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and we're going to buy. I use the news to know that's when volume is going to be present. So I need to be in the trade or have the markup prior to that news to where I can be prepared for that move. So exactly, we trade the push. That's it. And I think that's why we've been so successful in the trades that we've taken, is because we trade volume, we trade that push. And that's where it's at, man. If you can get that good push and volume, you will win trades, hands down. So this was a short one. Obviously, I'm not looking at any more trades at the moment at all, especially being in this. I would wait for price to at least come down, bounce in these zones, create some structure, give us some swing lows in these areas here so we can get some trend lines on them, and then look for that push down. If we're looking at the 30-minute, which is over here, I mean, you can see that you've got an aggressive entry right here on the swing low that comes through, that would break there to run there. I will not take this aggressive entry on the 30-minute though, because of that push. I mean, that was from market open up right there. I mean, that was a 219 pip push. So I'm not doing anything in this zone right here. I would wait for this break of the 34,861, and then that would be an aggressive entry to take down and then run it through. Can you explain how you connect the swing high, swing lows, and why you connect those dots? So yeah, the reason I connect them is because it shows structure for price being high and price being low, and where it could possibly break when it hits the zone. So by connecting the dots, which I mean, sometimes I won't connect the dots, I'll utilize it to set my trend structure. Again, you're not using this as a trend. You'll see people put a dot, have a dot here. That's where they're going to start their structure point and then do this number here like that. And there's no reason to really do that because this is flat line. So you're able to take, and you can say, okay, if we're flat like that right there, you can draw your box around them and ignore everything you see right here. So all you're looking for now is this. So you got a candle, wick, 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 and then it breaks right there. Boom. So that would have been the entry this morning before market opened. And you're up 213 pips. This was the entry that we set up for aggressive, non-aggressive. And I mean, as you can see, they're winning pretty good. When I connect the dots as a whole, which I don't have really a good example to show you, except for right here, like this dot here, where I connected up here. That's how I came up with, I'll show you this. So I use the highest point that I could see. I mean, obviously, if we zoom out a ton, then you're going to see higher points. But I really don't like to zoom out too far because remember, we're trading on the 1 minute. And the 1 minute will respect things that happened in the past, but it's not going to respect something that typically happened 10, 15, 20 days ago. So you don't need to see that much. So by using this high dot here and connecting this dot, and then we had another one right here, but obviously it was pushed away. Then we saw our entries. So that's how I got the aggressive entry. And then just by utilizing this top dot, bam, right there was our least aggressive entry. And that was the break of the trend. Correct. Yep. As soon as it breaks that trend line, you're in that trade. And it's in my opinion, it's the easiest way to trade. Easiest way. Does it always work? I mean, yeah. The only way it doesn't work is when it hits one of those trend line and rejects. And that's what messes people up. Again, that's why I like buy stop and sell stops. I can't tell you how many people I see that'll take a buy right here on this candle because they see it coming through and they're like, oh, we're about to buy. I'm gonna go click buy. I want to be as early on this entry as I can. And then boom, they're at 58 pips, 68, pips of drawdown. So because of that, it's like, yeah, that's not good. So if you use that buy stop and sell stop, you can set it right here. And then if it breaks and that volume pushes, it's what happens right here. You're in it. Boom. Yeah, SPX right there, bro. And that was a beautiful move right here. Look at that. Swing high, build your structure, boom, clean break, zero drawdown, and slammed down beautifully. And that's messy, super messy. So when you connect the dots on that and you see this mess, you can just use a zone break on this one. You're not trading trend lines. Then 10 pips up. Boom. Oh, even better. So yeah, connect the dots right there. That was a nice, if you took that trade right there, that was super nice. All the way down 162 pips. If you took it off swing high, swing low structure break, bam, there's your structure right there. And freaking crushed it. Boom. If you took it on that push, boom, you won that trade. There was no way to lose that trade. No way to lose that one. What is your usual goal for take profit? So I typically will close half. So I'll close half of a position and then leave a runner and protect it. I will rarely ever close a trade manually for profit. I just let the runner run. And then sometimes it gets to a point where it's like, okay, this is stupid profit. I'm going to close it. And then a lot of times I just get knocked out. GJ, yeah, I can look at GJ. So GJ had a solid move on that sell right there. Boom, on that 1 hour. 241 pips. And then you also had that swing low right there too. It looked really pretty. Come on, man. Oh, don't do that to me. Oh, it just popped up all this. There we go. Swing low, structure, broke candle, retested. You had only 14 pips of drawdown for 11 hours. It set kind of flat, but man, it ran 271 pips. So if I'm looking at GJ right now, then I'd be looking at a break right there, just like that. That'd be my break. If you're playing a zone break, you could get in probably a little tighter and break below right there to at least that line and then fall down. If you're looking for buys, I mean, big move's already pushed. So on the 1 hour, that's what I trade on GJ. I wouldn't see any buys, but I'll be looking for that right there. GBP CAD. Yeah, most definitely. So GBP CAD has already broke, closed a candle above it. So if you're playing GBP CAD, that's gonna be a tough one. I don't trade CAD pairs, just as a heads up. I hate them. But that's a right there's your zone. So if you're looking at GBP CAD, I would only take buys when it breaks this zone. Meaning a candle closes above this, I'd take a buy up. If you're looking for sells, yeah, on the 1 hour, I don't see sells unless it breaks a zone. If you're playing zone structure for sells, I'd be about right there. So that's about the zone I'd have it in. Buys break that, sells break that. GU 1 hour. Yeah, I got a G marked up right there. So I was already looking at this one. So for GU, I'm looking at a retest of this zone here or this trend to bounce up. And then if you're looking for sells, close above this and that blue line go up. So that would be your buy stock right there. And then this one here, we could actually do this right here and say, that's your sell stock right there. Can you look at UChef H4? Yeah, most definitely, man. UChef. So UChef needs a bounce of that. Oh, you said 4 hours. Sorry. Yeah. So UChef needs a bounce off this trend and or that zone up there. It needs to bounce and head back up. If we hit either one of these and break, we're going to slam down to, I'll be looking at a TP right there. And I mean, obviously trading those, which you know this, trading those higher time frames like that, you're just swing trading. So, I mean, this 4 hour candle could easily come through in a wick at the bottom of this. So I'd be really cautious of how the candle opens and closes. The closure on that one's going to be really important for sure. Let's see what old 30's doing over here. Yeah, it's consolidating this area pretty heavy. So if you're wanting to play, that higher risk game, Then right there is your break, right there. So if it hits that and pushes up, that's your high risk break. If you're looking for a secondary entry, you can always run this one. Here's your secondary entry. I would probably run it not even a half, probably a quarter. So if you're in this to say a point, 20, enter it like a point 0.05. If you're at a point 10, enter it just a 0.02. Right up here for that second entry if you get some volume to push up. So the MAs are 14, 50, and 200. Here's the secondary entry. So so anytime I run, I had a question come through. When do you run secondary entries? And right now you've got some pretty good volume push in here. So if you're entered here, you're setting at 179 pips of profit. If you're setting here on that entry, you're setting at 158 pips of profit. So you've got room if you want to risk another entry, which would be right here. And whatever this entry is, you want it to be a quarter of it. So just divide it by a quarter, and you found your entry. And then that way, if this entry hit and price comes down and then breaks this zone, starts selling off, you can close that entry for a loss, but then you can close this entry down here for a win. Or you can close out a half of this one and it's going to cover up the distance of the loss of the quarter up here. And that way you still have your runner, you still have a position, it's protected, and you covered this loss with the winnings from this one over here. Usually take trades based off of candle close. I take my trades off candle open. I don't recommend people though taking trades off candle open. I always say candle close because 9 times out of 10 it's safer that way for you guys. But if you want to be high risk and trade like that, it does work. Just be cautious of it because it can get you in a lot of trouble. So just please keep that in mind. It was a super weak open. Super weak. And that's again why I protected so early was because I just saw that volume wasn't there. When you've got, granted, open candle was nice. Once we got that volume, 47 pips. But when you look at the market's been open now for 45 minutes. And when we look at, 45 minutes opening right here, and we're setting only at, 200 pips is not a bad day. I don't care who you are. 200 pips is not a bad day. If you're trading at $10 per pip, you just made 2K in a matter of 45 minutes. So no one's complaining. If you're trading $1, literally, if you're trading $1, you just made $200 in an hour and a half. So, do the math on this. $200 a day over the course of what? That's 4K a month. Like no one's going to complain 4K a month for working an hour and a half on these charts. No one. But I just like to see the volume. And we've looked at the volume. We've lost from here to here. It's still right in that same zone. That right there is 31 minutes. So from market open to where we started going sideways was only 15 minutes. So we really only had a 15-minute volume push. So not the best day. And if you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, I say I don't like trading on Fridays. I don't. Mondays used to be that day where I just hated to trade because Friday and Monday just was nothing going on, Did you ever give any thought to doing a 1K challenge? Which one do you mean, Scott? And I'll be right back. I got to go check on something real quick with the kiddos. Be right back. Actually, I'll let the music play for you guys. All right. What happened to my mic? Can you guys hear me okay? Because I've lost all sound coming into my headset. There we go. I bumped the mute button on here. Oh, all right. Good question. I like this. Why do you wear headsets? So I hate wearing them, to be honest. But it allows me to hear myself as you guys hear me. So if it's picking up something in the background, or if there's noise outside in the car or distortion, I can hear it better in this. Without the headphones, I can't hear what's going into the mic. So there's sometimes I'll go ahead and get if I'm home by myself and the kids aren't hearing anything, I'll take them off because I can get this set up to where I need it, and then I'm good to go. But with the kids here and everything, I just want to be sure that you guys aren't hearing anything happening in the background that would mess up the quality of it or anything. We'll sign up for the accelerated class B this week. Yes, sign up for the accelerated class will be this week. Should be dropping today or tomorrow. Once the father-son account hits your goal, start a new challenge with a small account and see what you can run it to. I'll be 100% honest. I will probably, once the goal for, we really don't have a goal for this account. Me and Lawson were talking about that last night, because I was like, hey, you want to get up in the morning and trade with me? And he was like, Dad, I would, but I just want to relax in the morning. So he was like, I don't want to trade right now. And I was like, fair enough. Can I ask you why? And he was like, well, because I would rather me and you just do something in the morning instead of trading. Fair enough. So, I mean, I think about that in just terms of being a kid, and it's fun and you like it, but then it's like, I just want to take a break right now. I want to do something different. And it doesn't bother me a bit, because I think I think we can learn a lot from kids. And I think that happens to us sometimes. There's sometimes we're on the charts and we're trading and we're like, man, this is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this. And all of a sudden you're not enjoying it anymore, but then you're afraid of missing a move, or you're afraid of not making the money. And then it turns into you're forcing yourself now to sit down and take these trades. You're forcing yourself now to, say, man, I really don't want to trade today, but I don't want to miss the move. I don't want to miss the money. So I just think it's important to sometimes say, okay, yeah, take some time off. So there's not a goal for it though. I asked him, what was your goal? I mean, the goal ultimately was, $100,000 account. That's the goal. And we take some trades together offline. We'll look at stuff offline, take a few trades here and there, or we may scalp, nothing serious. But once it gets there, I'll probably at that point, just kind of take it over, I guess, for myself and say, man, I'm going to trade it and see what happens. I love trading, accounts and having fun. I really don't know, man. That's a tough question on what I'm going to do. I've got my big account that I've not traded in a while, that I've thought about, getting back into it and trading. But here's the thing: when I trade, like when I like to trade late at night by myself with a good drink, music playing, get in my zone. That's kind of my thing. I'm not a big, sit down and talk and do markups and things like that. When I'm in my zone, I'm in my zone. I'm like completely zoned out from everything. So I thought about getting back and trading it some. But I will say this though, once the accelerated classes start, we'll still be doing our mornings like this 2 to 3 times a week. But I've got, if we do morning Zooms, and then I've got my accelerated classes, which are in the mornings and at night time. And then I've got the big retreat coming up in October. That's the yearly retreat we do as the group. I've got obviously I already mentioned the accelerated class. And then I've got the one-on-one mentoring coming starting on January 1st, which I've not done in almost a year now. It'll be a year in January since I closed all my one-on-one mentorings down. So I have that open, which that'll eat up a ton of time. And then aside from the one-on-one mentoring, I'll have my video series, Andy's Blueprint, that me and 2 of my guys are working on right now for kind of an in-depth and uncut look into, what goes into my life outside just trading. So it goes into the business ventures, everything I'm part of there. And almost is a mastermind group that I've created. So the accelerated class is strictly for trading. And then I've got the blueprint, which is more or less, mentorships as a group setting for business development, family, kids. I mean, there's people that reach out to me constantly. They're like, man, you're a freaking good dad. I want to get in your head. And I'm like, well, the best way to see that is just be part of my life. So we got that working on. So there's just so many things that's going on, that I feel like adding any more to the plate, any more, challenges or things like that would just cause me to completely burn out. And in the event that it turns into a burnout, I just stop everything. And I mean, it's, and that's what happened when I did my one-on-ones last time. Is I had a big group. Well, I said big group. I had like 20, 22 people that was one-on-one mentoring, and then started doing the one-on-ones, started doing all the markups, started doing the, late night live trading. And it got to a point where it was a job. And when it gets to a point where my kids are coming to me and they're like, Dad, tonight, can we have a movie night? And it's like, nah, kids, we can't. Dad's got to do this. Can we get up in the morning, go do this? And now I got to do this. And then I'm like, hold up. This turned to a job. This is why I quit working, was to spend time with them. I literally just quit, refunded everyone their money, and said, I'm not doing this. So gotta have my head on straight and still have that time in there to live. So we'll see. But if the time is there, I'm all about it. Let's see. Why do you only trade Forex pairs on the 1 hour compared to lower time frames? The volume's not there for me. I can't trade it. And I'll just be completely honest. I can't trade Forex pairs on the 15 minute, the 30 minute, the 5 minute. I physically cannot do that. I've tried, I've lost, I've journaled it. And that's one thing. And that's another reason why I say journal. I mean, if you are not journaling, you don't know what you're good at and what you're bad at. You think you do, but when you physically can see it on paper, you're like, crap, I really suck at that. So when I was taking those Forex pairs on, the 15 minute and the 30 minute, and I saw that a bulk of my losses came from 15 to 30 minute trades, I was like, well, I'm just going to try it on the 1 hour. And then I started taking it on the 1 hour. I visually saw it better. I like the moves better, and I wasn't losing trades. So when I tell people I stick to what I'm good at, I journal it down. And if I see that I'm winning no lie, to show you how crazy I am, in another 2 months, it will be 3 years since I've had caffeine. Okay. But I still wake up in the morning and I still have a cup of coffee. I still leave here and I visit. So it's crazy. I visit 2 coffee shops. I go to the same 2 coffee shops every single day and get decaf coffee. And I do it one because I love the people that work there. So I go to one coffee shop so I can bless them. And then I go to another coffee shop and bless them. So one I'll take care of those people, drink my decaf coffee. 2.5, 3 hours later, go to the other coffee shop, get my coffee, take care of those people. That's my day. It's just a habit. It's a habit that I have. And I found that, man, when I was drinking coffee, I did everything good in life. I've not missed the caffeine, nothing, but it's just knowing that the taste of that is there. I've not stopped that routine. I do it. Same goes. Yes, I still drink Liquid Death. The only reason I'm drinking this was because I just thought it was really cool. Sparkling rainwater. Good sales gimmick that got me. I'm so I guess maybe superstitious, whatever you want to call it. But anytime I'm doing something and I win while I'm doing it and things are just clicking, I continue doing it. I'm the same way with soap in my shower. I've got a soap that I've used for months on top of months on top of months, and I just love it. And since I started using that soap, things started clicking in my life. So I've not switched. I mean, when I say that I am that concrete on my decisions and the things that I do, I'm that way. If I eat something for dinner and the night I ate that dinner, I had an amazing night, I'll say, you know what? I'm going to eat that again tomorrow. And I just stick with it. I do not change if something's going good. This is already good enough. We learned so much and still learning. We don't want to see you burn out. And it can happen quickly, guys. And that's why I say journaling is very important, because you can be honest with yourself. And when you write in your journals and you're like, man, I'm tired. Today was a long day, feeling stressed, didn't do good on trading, blah, 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 blah. And then you start seeing those entries in a pattern. You're like, okay, something's burning me out in here. I've talked about this in relationships. There's burnout in marriages, And what I've seen is that burnout comes from when, and it happened to me and Hannah, we were having that burnout moment a few years ago where it's like, wow, we're at each other's throat over nothing. But she was burned out, of just being mom, house, helping run some of the businesses. And then I was being burned out on dad, husband, running the businesses, and then doing everything I was doing. So then we came together. We were two burned out people that just wasn't working. And we were like, you know what? Maybe it's because we're taking life too serious on some of these things. So let's just stop. Let's just do date nights in the middle of the week for no reason. Let's just do day dates, have our sitter come over to the house, watch the kids, and let's just go out during the day. And once we started doing that, we were like, okay, we started feeling that stress relief. The burnout wasn't there because we were changing up, the day-to-day, things that we were doing. So it can happen anywhere. You have me on liquid death. Now my kids like it, man. I'm telling you, that stuff it's life. So yeah, this is a boring trading session, but nonetheless, we all won. Today, you guys probably won bigger than I did, to be honest, because my winnings for the day are nothing like what some of you guys had. I can promise you. I protected extremely, extremely early. Thank you, Jeremy. Yes, sir. I'll see you tomorrow. Got a runner at $800 worth of profit. I mean, yeah, dude, that's sick. And that's a runner. So, I mean, if you look at the 1 hour, so I said, we'll look at the 1 hour and the 30 minutes just to kind of see where we're at. Yep. That's right back there. Look, you guys hear me say this all the time, that V shape, boom, boom. I mean, V's all day long. And it finally broke. So this will be a lesson learned too on this one. It always comes back. If you're not over leveraged, you could have held a trade from September 16th and you're in profit now. If you're not over leveraged, which I would hate for someone to hold a trade that long. But yeah, broke zone 1, broke zone 2. The zone 3 runs really close to this area here. So like I said, if you're protected and you got some solid profits running, it's not bad at all. And look at that 30-minute. Yeah. I mean, it's right there at it. So it's looking good. Profit's profit, man. And if you guys are able to catch profit on these lives and make some money and have fun trading, then that's what it's all about. So have the fun and let's murder it together. I'm about it. Let's see. I followed you to a T today with everything. Awesome, man. So sorry I ran my protection too tight. Way more than me. I was convinced on sales would happen. So John, this is a prime example of why I try not to predict or be convinced what the market's going to do, and I'll react to it. Because reaction to me, and I've got a whole series of this that I've done. Reaction to me is more important than predicting. When you predict, you're able to get in on some really tight spots. You're able to do, some really, fun things, because then you can say, oh man, I predicted buys, it hit buys and look where we went, blah, 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 but I would much rather react. So, for sales did happen hands down. I mean, I was in a sell when I first started this live. You got somebody, I was in a sell almost up $1,900 in profit. But then the buys just took over. And sales may come later today, but just react. It's going to be fun. This week should be a fun one. Are you going to be at the lab this week? Probably not. I'll be completely honest. I had a really good friend of mine who lost her battle. I've known her for 21 years. She lost her battle with cancer day before yesterday. So I've got her funeral this week. And then Ronnie passing away. More than likely have his funeral this week. And then I've got an acquaintance, but of a really good friend of mine that had death yesterday as well. So I got their, so I got 3 funerals this week. So between the 3 funerals this week, getting everything ready for the accelerated class. And then when October hits, it's busy, man, because there's I got 2 kids whose birthdays are in October. We got Halloween. I've got 2 private Halloween events that I'm hosting, plus the accelerated classes. plus the retreat. Like my calendar's nuts. So I probably will not be at the lab this week, but don't let that distract you guys from going to the lab, because Ken's at the lab right now and he's there by himself. I want people to start taking advantage of that lab. If you've got a lab membership, take advantage of it, because I can tell you right now, you get 5 to 10 people in a room and you're looking at those people and you've got, 8 people standing there in buys, getting the sell, because 97% of traders lose. So do completely opposite of what the group's doing. No, I'm just kidding. You're able to use it to really learn and talk to each other and figure out, what someone else is doing different than you. You may go in there and be like, man, I had a decent week. I won, 3 of my 6 trades, which is 50-50. Wasn't bad. And someone said, man, I only won 2 of mine, but man, I made a profitable week. And you're able to go back and forth and really talk to see what other people are doing. And like I said, that's what I wanted the PIP lab to be. I didn't want the PIP lab to be this place where I'm constantly there, because I have to pick one of 2 things. Okay. I have to either pick go to the lab, or I have to pick go on live. It's easier for me to go on live and trade with you guys in the morning with, 50, 60 people online with me here than it is to go to the lab. Because here's the thing. If I go to the lab, chances are we may be able to trade live, but we're not going to get the market open. I can tell you that right now, because my kids get up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we have homeschool, we have breakfast, we have those things. And I will not miss that with the kids. Well, it's a 45-minute drive for me to get to the lab. So for me to make market open, I'm going to miss that with the kids. So it's like, if we're going to trade market open, I got to do a Zoom. But if I'm going to the lab and then I do a Zoom and then I leave here and get my car to go to the lab, then I'm losing 3 or 4 hours a day with my family. And I can't do that. So I have to pick one of the 2. But there's people who are already at the lab. So like Ken's at the lab. I know Mark was going to go to the lab. There are a few people that were going to go there. So take advantage of that. Carla says, how do we sign up for the accelerated class? Will you put on Discord? Yes. So the accelerated class will be listed for everyone in the Discord announcements. I'm taking right now, the way that I've got structured, I'm taking 12 people for morning classes and 12 people for evening classes. If I see that there's a little bit of wiggle room there, because I've got an actual team behind me that's helping me put this together as far as organizing it, structuring it, and everything with me. They're basically managing it for me in my time. So if they see there's a little bit of wiggle room, they said that we could take as many as 18 in the morning and 18 at night. But they said that would probably be the cap on that. So, and the way that the accelerated class is set up is we've got, and this is pretty cool. I'm not going to give away any hints on pricing structure and all that, but I will say this. You can pay the one-time payment for the entire class. And then we've got it set up to where you're able to pay for half of it up front. And then at the end of the second week, pay for the other half. That way it allows a little bit of wiggle room for people that don't want to drop it all at one time for that. Let's see here. Thank you for taking time and answering our questions. Love the way you balance your family and business. Thank you so much, Carla. You think we get to 3, 5, 5, 7, 7? I mean, it could, but we're gonna need some massive volume tomorrow because we do not have the volume. And guys, if you're a member at the PIP Connect, if you're a member at the PIP Lab, you'll have a section in Discord that says the PIP Lab. So if you have a PIP Lab membership, then go ahead and click on the PIP Lab and start gathering groups of people to go down there together. That way you guys can go down there and talk, hang out, and trade together. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. Oh, you'll be sending a link out? Yes, I will be sending a link out through the general section actually through the announcements, because in the general section, anyone else can post and things get lost. So when I put it in announcements, it's only me that's posting in there. So that way it stays there and you guys can see it. So it will be posted in the announcement section. So the link for the retreat is being fixed. I talked with my guys this morning. They're supposed to have that fixed Friday for me. And obviously they were at a loss on how to get it to work because it's a broken link within the event section of the website. The event has not changed and the link to it hasn't changed. It was a redirect that they had created when we released the new website. So because of that, it caused it not to work. So I've actually got a meeting with them at 11 o'clock, which is only 22 minutes away for us to get that nailed out and done today. Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Yeah, I look at it like this. When I go on live on these Zooms, it's like if I'm going to jump on a Zoom with someone to trade, then it's one person and they're having to pay for that. If I can do this 2 or 3 times a day, it's giving that value back to every single person on here. So, I mean, you figure, and this just kind of gives you an idea of how I look at it as a businessman, where I'm not trying to, nickel and dime everyone. At one point we had 58 people on here trading live. Okay. So if every single person, 58 people, took just the least aggressive trade right here. Okay. You're still currently setting at 141 pips with a high profit of 178. So at $1, because that's the least you can trade this on, you literally, in this one trade right here on least aggressive, just made sitting right now at $144. If you took the aggressive stance, then you're sitting at $167 with $1. And the most drawdown you ever had was 0. If you entered here, the most drawdown you had was $5. So $5 to be sitting at $143 worth of profit is not bad. All right. So if me and you jumped on a Zoom, I say me and you, anyone that was listening to this, at 58 people. So if I tried to jump on a Zoom with all 58 people at different times of market opens and all this stuff, then for 1 hour, that's worth $8,700 to me. So if you want to jump online and trade with me just one-on-one live every single day a week, because you're going to make money, I can promise you that. It's going to cost you $750 a week. And you're probably going to make 2 or 3 times that. All right. So that means in a month's time, you're going to pay me $3,000 to get on a Zoom with me for an hour to trade market open. And there's people that have paid me for that. But I'm going to do that every single morning for people who are just paying for the membership for the whole thing that we got. I just think it's more fair that way. Like, it's a lot more fair. So everyone wins that way, and I'm able to set and have 50 to 60 people on one call instead of having to have individual Zooms with 50 to 60 people, because I would pull my hair out. Have a gold template. I do have the gold template. Thomas, the way gold's moving right now, I really don't like it. So I would advise not using it at the moment. And Fred just said something cool. He said, I appreciate Tom jumping on here. I'm always trading, but always cool to trade with everyone. Fred, I agree. And I would advise any of you guys, don't just wait on my Zooms. If you guys are midday and you see something, I'm not one of those guys that's going to say, hey, don't post a Zoom link. Post a Zoom link in the chat or whatever, and you guys get on a Zoom. Get on a Zoom, start trading with each other, mark up trades together. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. And like someone like Fred, where he's always trading, y'all jump on together and y'all have some fun. Hey, sweetie. Huh? What? Hi, baby. You don't have to ask me to hug me. You can hug me anytime. These are people online. You can get on their call any day. You don't have to say
hi.
You don't have to say anything, baby. Yes, sweetie.
When I touched this on the car, my hair and no, it's disgusting.
Oh, they're so funny. Let's see. Can you resend the link for the retreat? And thank you for taking your time. So the link is in the Telegram. So that I'm glad you said that. I had a few messages where we're like, I don't see a link. I wasn't invited. So the way that this works is there's a few people that I have personally invited because I know these people. And then there's people that are grandfathered into the retreat because they've been on other retreats with us. So because of that, those people have first dibs. So as soon as the link actually gets to working, they'll have 48 hours. After the 48 hours, then you can just message me and I can get you fit in and I'll get you the link and all that shared over. So, but it's in the Telegram that I added you to, bro. I just got in Discord and got Karma Capital Broker. How do I apply your indicator? So if you go to announcements on the Discord, you'll see the template. And once you download that template, you will right click and choose templates, load template, and then you will load that template in here. And you'll look just like this, but it's in the announcements section. So welcome to the team, bro. Hey, Lawson Lena, I just saw the message. I'll tell him we said, hey, we all got love for your family too, man. Don't let her be shy. Yeah, well, there's some meetings where I don't like my kids to be present. So in meetings where I don't know the people, I keep my kids away from them. I keep my kids' faces away from them. I don't want them to know who my kids are or anything like that. Obviously they can see them on social media, but there's just some meetings where it's like, I don't even want these people to see my family. Like, you're not even entitled to see my family because I really don't know you. You're not giving anything to me. and it's strictly business. That's why she's like, can I be in this? But when it comes to you guys, I mean, heck, we're on Zooms all the time. Y'all know my family. Some of y'all play Uno with my kids, so it's cool. But yeah, there's some Zooms where those people don't even deserve to see my kids. It's strictly business. They don't care about me. They don't care about my family. I could die tomorrow and they'd kick dirt on my grave and say, okay, where's the next guy we can use for business? So those people, don't need them. Yeah, man, I love the retreats. It's so much fun. And I hope there's more and more of you that will be able to join us as they progress, because next year's retreats are going to be pretty fun. I'm going to structure them a little differently. So this one, we just kind of randomly, let's take a retreat. And we throw it up in like 3 to 4 weeks in advance. Starting in January of next year, we're going to have them structurally placed up. So it'll be an every 2-month thing. So every 2 months we'll have a retreat, and that way you can pick and choose the retreat that's best for you, closest to you, makes more sense for you, and all that stuff. So should be a good time for sure. Yeah, bro, I appreciate that. It means a lot. It was a rough weekend, but we're gonna make through it. Everyone's pulling together, and we will make through it. So, but the family is all here. Time for us to kick off some things. That's why I left, because I thought the kids were still here, and I walked upstairs and it was just the TV. The kids had went with Hannah to take Lainey to school. She goes to a private homeschool thing that once a week, so she was at that. But yeah, I'm gonna go and end this. I'll get the video uploaded for you guys, and y'all can go back and watch it and see how it goes. Any retreats in Texas for 2022? So yeah, I'm actually looking at doing more retreats outside of Tennessee. I think we've got Texas wasn't on the agenda, but I can throw something together for sure. I mean, I'm all about it. I'm all about traveling. The only reason that we have kept a lot of the things local is because the Nashville and Chattanooga and Atlanta airport are easy for most people to fly into, and a bulk of our people are in Chattanooga. So, as we're growing, because when I first kicked this thing off, it was basically just locals together. So it didn't make sense for all of, if you've got 3 people traveling from out of town, but then you got 20 people that are already in town, it only makes sense to keep where the majority's at. But now that we're growing and growing and growing, it makes sense to travel and do things like that. So yeah, most definitely we'll plan something for sure. So, all right, guys, I'm heading off. I'll get this uploaded. I'll keep everyone updated with the links to the retreat when that gets fixed. And then as soon as accelerated info is up, you guys will know. It will be posted here before it is posted on social media. So if it all sells out within our Discord, then Instagram misses out, and I've got to hold another one later. But then if it doesn't, like I said, it will be posted here. It'll be a solid probably 10 to 12 hours before I post it on social media. So there will be plenty of time for everyone to see it. So y'all have a good one. Profitable day. I'm glad everyone won, except for, me protecting too early. But hey, we're all winners, right? Y'all have a good one. See y'all later.